He said if we were the toughest, the strongest, nothing had ever hurt us. I believed him. We all did.
Old Billy Freckles got home, and I watched the rest of The Iron Claw. With Zac Efron, Jeremy Allen White from The Bear, this kid Stanley Simmons, who just blew me away, and then the guy playing the dad of all the Von Erichs. What is his name? Oh, Christ, I thought I put it down here. It says Holy McElhaney. What is wrong with me? I can't type. I just don't. I don't understand. Is this what getting old is? Is this what it is? All right, here we go. Holt. Oh, I probably typed in Holt, and then spell check was like, did you mean Holy? Holt McElhaney played the patriarch of the Von Erich family. And I love this movie so much. I was actually reading up on like Reddit and what people were saying and all of that. And it's like they had so much tragedy in that family that there was one kid, they just didn't even have that character in it because it was just too sad or too redundant. I don't know what. But the end of that movie, the way they did it, they did put a positive spin on it. I think they knew. They didn't just go straight Manchester by the sea.
Hey, Lee.
Is he dead?
I'm sorry, Lee. He passed away about an hour ago.
Oh.
Remember that one? Whoa. That fucking movie. They gave you a nice thing in the end, which I thought was amazing.
I'm not a brother anymore.
Oh, well, we'll be your brothers, Dad. Yeah, Dad, we'll be your brothers.
And, yeah, whatever. I give it 2 freckled thumbs up. You got to watch that. The Iron Claw, I believe it's streaming right now on Apple TV. Look at me, old fucking Billy at the movies lately. Oh, and I got another one to watch. On Apple Plus, whatever the fuck they call it. Steve Martin, there's a documentary on him, and I can't even tell you how much it's blowing me away just watching this thing because I never thought about Steve Martin's style, and I never thought about what he went through to ascend the stand-up ladder doing an act like that.
I heard a guy say, I don't understand any of this. And it was not a moment of pride. You know?
Death. Comedy death. Which is worse than regular death.
Because he just all of a sudden was there. I was 10 years old and he was being silly as hell. And I never, I was 10. I didn't analyze it. I was like, this guy reminds me of my friends. This guy's hilarious. And I just thought he was the funniest dude I'd ever seen in my life. The movie, The Jerk, all of it. The Man with Two Brains. That was it. That was it. He came out with that white suit with the arrow between the head, making the balloon animals and just being silly and ridiculous. Well, excuse me. I loved him.
And one more thing, if you bought my album and you came down here expecting me to do a lot of routines from the record and I didn't do them, well, excuse me.
And I just went, whatever movies he did, I saw them all. But I never really thought, and then by the time I started doing stand-up, he was like, had long since stopped doing stand-up and now was like this movie-making icon or whatever, right?
I felt that I was on a speeding train called stand-up comedy. Coming in the other direction was a speeding train called movies. My job was to get off the stand-up train and throw myself onto the movie train.
I never stopped to think about it. And the balls this guy had to do what he did. He wanted to be a comedian, but realized he wasn't like a set-up punchline person.
I went in and wrote something. Mason circled a line, and he said, "That's the punchline, and we'll just take it and put it at the end." Started having anxiety attacks.
That would literally be like being a musician, being like, I'm a musician, but I don't like putting notes that go together. and then I'm somehow going to write a hit song.
Sounds like she's hitting a baby with a cat.
You have to listen to the notes she's not playing.
I can do that at home.
He basically made the decision like what he was going to do was be avant-garde, and he was going to go up there with no setup, no punchline, and he was saying that audiences were so educated. He was talking about back then that the crowd was educated, they sort of understood, like almost subconsciously, that you create this tension and then the punchline is the release of the tension. And so they were like laughing sometimes because they just knew they were supposed to, rather than because what was being said was funny.
That's not real laughter. What if I could get real laughter?
So that gave him the idea to do this other way, where he was basically like, I'm just going to keep creating tension and I'm not going to release it. And people will then decide when it's time for them to laugh, when they just have to laugh or whatever.
Like the audience eventually would have to pick their own place to laugh.
I was after that quality that is indefinable. Where you say, I don't know why it was funny, but it was.
And like, I just have to say, being in this business, if that is your strategy as a stand-up comedian, I would have given that a 0.0% chance of you making it doing that. And then I would give it like a 1% chance of working occasionally and having a good set. And what's amazing is you watch this documentary, and that's essentially what he went through, is like older people were like so conditioned on what was stand-up and what wasn't, that they were just looking at him like he had three heads.
I was just as happy with a look. Like, what?
There are two kinds of people in the world: those who understand Steve Martin's humor and those who don't.
And he was getting these big gigs opening up for singers, and he was getting fired, and he still had the balls to stay with what he was doing. And then he finally did some gigs in San Francisco. That's as far into it as I got, and it just blew my mind. Like I said, like I never even stopped to think about how original he was.
I had the kitchen sink in my act. I put the magic in.
Ace of spades. The ace of spades. Well, you're wrong.
I read E.E. Cummings.
The devil locked the great green dancing devil. Whee!
I juggled.
Because like I said, I was 10, and all of a sudden, have you seen this guy Steve Martin? And that album came out, you know, he had the white suit and all of that, and just put it on. It was funny, and then that was it. So to go back now and just see what he went through is just, it's amazing, and it's done so well. And like Steve Martin narrates it, and he's reading from like his diary. It's as far as like stand-up history, it's like priceless. I'm so happy that they made this thing. So check that out.
I've got it. I'll do 5 years of entertainment, then 40 years of banjo. Hello. No, I don't want $10 million for a movie. Call back when you've got 14 banjo fans in your city's worst theater.
She said she wanna go right, but I told her go left. She don't wanna fuck, so I'm all up in her neck. Shorty looking so bad that